see, and I hope y'all got that. It went so fast I couldn't even read it, but there might be some spicy words. I do know that part. Man, welcome to the show. The Trade Talks is going to be something different. Those of y'all that have seen what we do, we've been doing this over on my YouTube channel, the Roger Wakefield channel, which we'll talk about a little bit. But what we're going to talk about, and is that my timer? Finally, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
We're going to learn some things. We've got this segmented out, orders that we want to go in, but we wanted to welcome all y'all. We wanted to do something different. Today is the first day of a show where we want to talk about the trades. We want to talk about multiple aspects of the trades, everything from business to personal, to growth, to tools, to materials, to equipment, to technology, a lot of different stuff. So we broke it up in a lot of different sections. You want to talk a little bit about it?
Where the work's at, what affects your bottom line, how to bring up revenue in your company, in your trade, just different things, man. We're going to cover it all. We want to cover it from top to bottom, from the business aspect to the entry level. We want to talk safety. We want to talk materials, new tools. We want to keep everything that we've got and that we're learning in front, top of mind for everybody, so that we're all striving to get better.
And the cool thing is we're looking for sponsors. We've already been talking to some really good sponsors that we're getting close to signing some agreements on, because we want to bring in other people. So number one, anybody watching, if you know of sponsors, you're like, oh my God, this will be great for them. Or you're in the trades and you're like, look, I deal with the biggest supply company and they'd be great for this. We'd love to talk to them, because this is something where we're going to bring them in. Where, those of y'all that have seen the old YouTube show and our podcast, we do everything live. This one we're doing a little bit different. We're going to bring in different people, whether it be contractors, manufacturers, companies that are in like best practice groups, that are in information, that are in training. Man, boy, that's going to go crazy. Yeah, I don't know that we can do that every 10 times
Every
a
5
show.
minutes.
Yeah. So anyway, the first thing that we're going to talk about today is national news. And we're really talking about the future of skilled labor and analyzing government investment in trade education. And everybody always wants to keep the government out of the trades. And it makes sense. I mean, we were in the union. We don't want the government involved in that.
And it's like, I've been on some government jobs, as we always called them, schools, things like that. We love to do them because it helps the community, but it adds 10 extra layers of paperwork and things and just little fine checks and things in some of those projects that make it way more difficult to just go in and do your job,
Yeah, there's a lot of times that, and sometimes it's based on pay, sometimes it's based on quality. There's a lot of different things, but it's like you've got to make sure that you're doing things right. But what I want to talk about here is, if you look at the government investing in apprenticeships, investing in trade schools, I think it's something the government needs to do. And there's grants out there, there's training dollars, there's educational dollars. You look, the outgoing president is forgiving so much money in student debt. And I think that's crazy. You're forgiving trillions of dollars worth of debt. But what you should be doing, or what you should think about doing, and hopefully the incoming president does this, is invest in the education of tradespeople. Because in my thought all along, and I talk about this all the time, is look, if student debt was really worth it, don't you think they'd have paid those loans back? I mean, we invest in ourselves as tradespeople, and we pay it. We pay it as we go.
Yep.
And look, it is what it is. But when we get out, it's paid. We're doing our deal. And if you're on TikTok or Instagram, look, I'd love to have y'all jump over onto the Trade Talks on YouTube. Love to hear from you. We're not going to spend as much time on this channel replying to comments, because we've got these sections. And as we bring in sponsors, they'll have this section that Randy or I can interview them, talk to them, ask them questions, and figure out what all they want to talk about.
That's it. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun year, fun show. Just gonna keep everything moving forward.
But the good thing is we want to hear from y'all, and we'll end up setting up an email address. We'd love to see your comments in here about what y'all want to see from the show. And I'm not just going to ask a lot or answer a lot of questions in here. I see that we've got, first time here, happy year all. Horrible Human, Patrick Ramirez says, good morning all. LeBron says, happy New Year's, guys. Thank y'all very much. Ben says, good neighborhood plumber in the house. I love this. Horrible Human says, my New Year's resolution is to finish my master electrician exam. Good for you, and start your business. So here's the thing, guys. We want to hear from y'all. What is it you would like to see during the show? And probably wait till the end, because we can go through and tell you the different topics. And I've got time to do that right now. So, and I'll say what I do. We should probably restart and go to the next one. But we're going to talk about national news. We're going to talk about website reviews. We're going to talk about business growth, service work, materials, equipment, and technologies. And then we're talking about MEP, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. Where's the work at? Instructor training, and then specialty. And then we're going to talk about some social media stuff. So right here, we've been talking about business a little bit. Let's go ahead and go to the next one, which will be how to create landing pages. And this is going to get into website reviews and stuff. And I'm going to literally bring in some marketing people, and I've got some that I deal with. But we want to bring in marketing people to help us. And what we'll do at that point, what our plan is say that the neighborhood plumber's in the house, and Ben says, hey, look, I'd love for you to look at my website. What we want to be able to do at that point is tell people about it. We want to pull up the website, have our marketing person also have it pulled up, and he'll be able to screen share. So we'll bring it up, and he'll go through and look at it and say, okay, look, I ran analytics on it. I've done this. And you get to see this real time. You get to see what a website person can do in 5 minutes to your website. And Randy, you've been working a lot on your website here lately. What all have you learned about websites?
Man, there's way more to a website than any of you tradespeople would think, I promise. There's so many inner workings to it. It can be real tricky, but with a little help and guidance, it's not too difficult. I've got chat bots. I've got AI tied in now. Websites, it's the landing page when your customer first gets there and they need some help. They look you up. They find you on the internet. That first page that pops up, that's your billboard. That's your billboard for yourself going, hey, here I am. Here's what I do. I'm going to do right for you. And that's your opportunity. You only get one first impression, just like when you're meeting somebody. And same thing goes for your landing page.
And what I like about that is website companies will tell you, hey, I can get a lot of people to your page, or I can keep people on your page forever. But as trades companies, we need one thing. We need our phone to ring. And if that website is not built to make your phone ring, to get someone through the process of buying for you. Remember, when they come to your website, they're looking for a plumbing company, an electrical company, and an HVAC company. They're looking for you. I mean, they're on your site. Somehow they ended up on your site. If your website does not convert, if your website does not make your phone ring, I don't care how much money you spend on it, it's not worth it. And you can say, well, Roger, he's talking about he's got bots and things like that. Look, you need it set up to answer questions. But at the end of the day, whether you've got it set up where it's automated, where they can book a call online, or you've got it set up where they will call you, you need to get them in your process. You need to get them in your flow to where they are becoming a customer. And whether it's asking questions, whether it's learning more information, whatever it is you or your website is providing for them. But you've got yours now set up where people can text you at it. People can talk to your bot and say, when are y'all open? How much is training?
Bot, schedule up some appointments. I've got one couple this week already before the week's out, kicking off the new year right. But all that was automated. All I had to do is go in and accept it, because that's how I set it up. I could have set it up to where it just automatically accepts everything. I'm from the trades, guys. I like to guide it a little bit and have a little control. So I go through and I actually approve the meetings or not.
I love it.
So but one of the main things I think about the website is that lead capture. We've been learning that a lot, is gathering that data. Because if they want to be your customer and they just click on your site, they check it out a minute and then get off.
You wasted your money.
How do you know who that was that you got to your site? You want to be able to capture that somehow. And that's real important on a website build.
I love that. Go ahead and give us a new timer up because we're going to roll into how to create a business budget. But guys, I want you to understand that if you're in business or thinking about going into business for yourself, website's going to be your biggest investment because that's going to help people find you. But then it goes from your website to social media and things like that. But in order to do all that right, you've got to be able to create a budget. And I remember one of the first best practice groups that I went into. I go in and tell the guy, look, man, I just need my phone to ring. I need my phone to ring. And he says, Roger, do you know if you're making money on every job you do? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't break down every job. He said, so what if you're losing money? What if you're losing money on 9 out of 10 jobs and you make your phone ring more? What happens? You lose money faster. So we started learning how to put a budget together and buying tools, buying materials, buying equipment based on our budget. We knew what our budget was going to do, but we also knew our numbers. We knew our KPIs. So learning to put a budget together and make all these things happen can be a game changer in your business. And you've done very well about it through League Pro. You're like, look, this is what it takes me to put together a kit. And I need this many kits put together every month in order to get through the month or whatever. And when you track your numbers, it's a lot easier to do, isn't it?
So for me, I sell a physical product. It's kind of easy for me to back calculate it the opposite way is how I kind of did my business budget for League
I
Pro.
call that a pull plan.
That's it. It's like, look, okay, here's the cost. Here's what we need to make. Here's what we need to do. Okay, how many of these? Okay, what? And then just add it up from the back end. Okay, and then you add your percents and things to come up with that final, and then that should hold to the right budget as long as you're keeping sales up, things like that. And then now starting advertising and marketing and setting apart a portion for that budget also.
And the good thing is when you're either in a best practice group or you hire the right coaches, you can literally know your numbers. You know your numbers before you get there. Now the only time that you're going to have a problem with those numbers when ships get stuck out in the ocean, they can't get to port and material costs freaking double or triple. Okay. You can't foresee that. But if you're looking at your numbers and you're like, hey, look, we're losing money now because materials are going up. We need to raise our prices now. You can use the budget that you create. You can use the information that you have if you're tracking, if you're watching your KPIs. You can do this and use it every single day and say, okay, we now realize that we need to increase our prices 5%, 10%. To be honest, most companies need to raise their prices 15 to 25% right now just to be competitive. And guys, a lot of you are thinking, look, I could never do that. My customers would say no, they'd go crazy. Well, maybe so, but would you rather them go crazy or would you rather you lose money? So I want you to think about that one.
And then the key is to train all your employees to hold to that budget. Because if you blow out your budget,
You're
it can lead
trash.
to bad things like that. That's it. You've got to have that control when you do set that business budget. Hold you and all your people accountable to it.
Absolutely. Okay, give me a new timer up here. Now we're going to talk about energy efficiency. And we're going to talk about energy efficiency and upgrades. And this is one thing where, man, I am big on residential service companies because if you're a plumber, you need to look at the energy efficiency options for every appliance that you sell, whether it's an ultra high efficiency toilet, whether it's not just your base typical water heater, but an upgraded version that's going to help them save money. And this is something that most plumbers don't do. Most HVAC technicians don't do. Don't offer the cheapest piece of equipment that you can get. Offer the piece that's going to bring them the most value. And if you'll learn to communicate that and sell the value, we talk about energy efficiency here, but I also want to bring quality into this because we just installed a water filtration system at your house. Mm-hmm. Guys, these are game changers. And to me, every plumber out there should be looking at energy efficiency and upgrades. Can you upgrade somebody to a whole house water filtration system? If you're not, you need to think about it. Can you upgrade them to a tankless? That's going to help save them money in the long run. If you're an electrician, what about solar? What about wind? What about a whole house GFCI? And if you're an HVAC technician, there's geothermal, there's indoor air quality. There's a lot of things that you can do that's going to help them, but look at it from an efficiency point of view. Look at it from the energy efficiency. If it's not energy efficiency rated, and why are you even selling it?
That's it. And like a lot of the times, it's 2025, y'all. We're getting better at creating things and making them more energy efficient. So a lot of things nowadays are
Yeah, we got the heater turned on in here. So
heat's kicking
Randy's
hard.
sweating.
But a lot of the times, the money that they can actually save from those things, purchasing them, is going to end up taking care of the cost in the long haul of things. Now, I know they got to pay for it up front, and I get that. But you can explain to that customer that they're going to save that over time, and that'll help out a lot.
Go ahead and give me another timer here because this next one's a big deal. And this is battery technology and tools. What's hot and what's coming next? And this is one of our favorites. I just want to make sure here that we're where we're supposed to be. I think we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 material equipment technology. So we're good. But here's the deal. What I want you to think about is, and we talked about this the other day, talking about Milwaukee, because one thing that we did for us at the end of the year, we both needed new tool bags. So we did research, found the bags that we wanted. They were Milwaukee's. But I got to go to the Milwaukee pipeline a couple of years back and to listen to them talk about their batteries and to look at the batteries, the way they're getting more power out of them. They're smaller. They weigh less. But one thing Milwaukee said, now I want you to think about your Apple, because I've got the new Apple iPhone 16. The charger changed on it, okay? And what that meant is I need new cables. I need a new plug adapter. I need a new way to charge my phone because I had everything set up for an old 14 and a 15.
Yep.
So one thing that I remember from being at Milwaukee Pipeline that day is, hey, look, our batteries are always going to fit. We're not going to change that. So it means if I've got a tool that I've had for 8 or 10 years, which I've got some tools I've had 30 or 40 years. Thought about that the other day when we were doing the Plumb Bob video.
Yep.
But I've got some tools like that. But to hear Milwaukee say, look, our battery's never going to change. It's going to fit. And man, that's a big deal.
That's huge. Like huge. Because I can remember us upgrading a different brand and trash all the old stuff because none of the batteries are going to be able to use. And I'm not going to keep up with every different battery unless it's for a completely different brand.
Yeah,
but
the new tools won't work with the old batteries. The old tools won't work with the new batteries. It's a pain.
That makes for a frustrating day on the job, man. Yeah, like Milwaukee's made it simple, and I dig it for sure.
Man, I am just kind of looking at everything, and we're actually doing pretty good on time. I know we've cut a couple of sections a little shorter, a little quicker, but you know, when it comes to your tools, and if y'all are in here, do me a favor, leave me a comment. What tools do you prefer? What brand do you prefer? Randy and I, look, I love Milwaukee, but you know what? I also love Rigid. I've got a lot of Rigid tools that I use. I've still got some DeWalt, but me personally, those are ones that, and look, I've had them for a long time. They've lasted a long time.
I've still got some of my old Ryobis from when I was an apprentice and just needed some power tools at the house.
I never had Ryobi.
I know, but Ryobi wasn't out back when you were an apprentice. You might have some.
Or you may have had that.
I don't use them much anymore for sure because I've got way better tools. But they're still around. They still work. Like I just needed something cheap around the house, and it was like $200 bag. I'm like, man, that's all I need for at home. And I've never took them to the job because they're not made for that.
Milwaukee, I love it. The Mystery Man, doing great. Milwaukee M12 set. Now we just did M18s.
Yep.
And Did we end up buying the biggest, nicest set, or did we buy the next one down and upgrade?
Next one down and upgrade. They actually, I found one. They've got a 10 tool set. That's
See, why
just
didn't
like
we get it?
every one of those was sold out. So we got the best that we could with
There we go.
with where we were at the end of the year.
There we go. Milwaukee, Horrible Human says still have a set of drills from 10 years ago. I love that. And like I said, the Mystery Man says M12 set. So we did. And the one thing that I wanted, the reason that we went the smaller set because it had the better 1/2-inch impact drive, which I've got a great one. So I wasn't worried about that. But, or an impact, not even a 1/2-inch drive. I need to check on that. But I wanted the oscillating tool, the multi-tool is what they call it. I think those things are phenomenal. And I think more people should use them. My protein shake's trying to come up. Go ahead and give me the next deal. Right here's where we're supposed to talk about our sponsors. So I'm going to take just a second and say, first of all, look, thanks to Leak Pro, we can do a lot of the things that we do. Leak Pro's been great for us. It's a leak detection equipment for plumbers. And I think it is the best leak detection system that there is. If you want to learn anything about it, just go to www.leak-pro.com and you can find out about it. And it's funny, we got 2 calls like New Year's Eve, and I'm on the phone with Randy like, man, look, I know you're off today, but I need you to go jump on the computer and go ahead and sell this equipment. That way they get the investment at the end of the year. And he's like, you know what, Dad, I like that. Let's do it. So it was good.
Yeah.
We've got, Randy talks about, we've got a hard equipment, but we've also got a training center, and we're fixing to build an event center. So we're working on a lot of things out here to make this better. And the cool thing about the event center is it's going to be our way to invite y'all here. That way we can say, hey, look, we're firing up the grills, we're firing up the smokers. We've got a couple of vendors that are going to come do tool presentations or whatever, and we're going to make this thing work. But it's going to be indoors. It's going to be outdoors, so we can have music. We can have all kinds of things. Once we get the event center done, then there's other things that we're going to want to do. So I'm excited about that. We've got some things in the work that are going to be cool.
It's going to be a cool trade place, guys, for sure. We're going to have some good times out here. And that way we're not always just talking to a camera,
I know. Get people out here in
I
video.
like to see faces.
And get them in front of a camera and say, hey, man, look, what's your favorite thing about being in the trades? If you're in here now and you would love to come out, since you're in the inaugural show, I'm going to tell you, look, we'll find a way to make sure that happens. So if you're in here, and there's only about a dozen in here right now between turn that thing off, between the 2 of them. If you're in here right now and you'd love to come out, just put it in here and let me know. Now we're going to move into MEP, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. And I'm lucky because me being a superintendent in the trades and in the union, I was at a large mechanical contractor that Randy ended up going to work at. But I was over some jobs, some bigger jobs that had plumbing, electrical, HVAC, that had all of it in it. So that part was really, really neat. And I love getting to work with all the trades. Now, as tradespeople, look, electricians don't clean up after themselves. We know that. But when you're working together at the same group, you learn to work with each other and help each other.
I'm going to say one of the biggest things is work together. I know he's a plumber and he hates fitters, and I'm a fitter and I hate plumbers, but guess what? We still have to work side by side, and we both trying to get the same job in. Work together the best you can.
Yeah.
Typically makes everybody's day better, I promise.
It's a big deal. But here's the deal too, and we were on a lot of jobs together, but prefabrication is becoming a super huge thing. And to me, that's something that more people need to see it. More people need to be around it. More people need to touch it and play with it and understand what all it is, because it makes all the difference in the world. But prefabrication can actually, and I'm setting my phone up there where I can look at a clock that's live. Prefabrication it's what makes jobs get done faster. It makes the job move along in a big way.
Huge. First job I truly saw major prefabrication because, like, I've been piping. I was a 20-year pipe fitter. We prefab a lot of pipe, send to jobs and things. But the biggest one, we did Parkland Hospital here in Dallas,
The new part,
the new Parkland.
not the old one.
They built the bathrooms
Half a mile down the
3
road.
blocks away.
Yeah.
Big blocks. It's downtown. It's but they built them complete, 100% tiled, grouted, everything, and they brought them over on 18-wheelers. I think it was 2 or 3 bathrooms per trailer.
Yep.
Came over, picked it up with the crane, built some really cool
Skills.
12-foot long pallet jacks to drag these bathrooms down the corridors. The corridors were wide enough. They planned everything. They would roll this bathroom into its location and pump grout underneath it to lock it into the floor. And then you would just make your connections to the prefabricated piping because it's 100% piped. It's got electrical. It's got the mirrors. It's completely finished out. And to be able to do that half a mile away from the job you're actually installing on, guys, that just opens up the future for even more and more things.
And let's go a little deeper on that. How is that faster?
Because over in the half a mile away area is this big, wide open warehouse. Nothing else is going on except building these bathrooms. This is what we're doing. It becomes like I used to build trophies. Something that's helped me even in League Pro today is this routine. Here's my routine. Here's what I'm doing over and over. And then I start over and come with a new routine. Well, in this set, controlled environment, it's very easy to, oh, here we go. Same thing over and over and over. But if it's in the field, some small things that are off a little or just unsquare or something can change a lot of different things for that just little few things you're doing. And you're having to go to every single location and do it. Not, oh, I'm here. Here's what I'm doing. And then it rolls down the line. Or I move my cart to the next one and you've got all these bathrooms set up. So that's how it truly saves a lot of time because you're not working over each other. And then everybody trying to work on that bathroom, they're not on the side. They're off side, not in anybody's way. So it helps everybody in the long haul.
Well, it was neat because last time I was in Las Vegas, I got to go over to Ahern. Now, Ahern, as you know, manufactures scissor lifts and Skytrax and things like that. They manufacture other things, but those are what I knew them for. Man lifts and equipment material lifts. So I'm over at Ahern, and they have done different things now. They can literally build a Taco Bell. They can build a Dutch Brothers coffee. We go through this thing, and this is something that they're expanding into, but I got to see this firsthand. And Don Ahern is phenomenal. His mindset and the way he looks at things, that he can literally build a metal frame for a business, build the business, then they can take it apart, drive it into town. Now, think about this. They're building it in Vegas. They're shipping it to Dallas and basically bolting this business together. It's already got your fixtures in it. It's got your tables. It's got your chairs. It's got your lights. It's got everything done where they literally bolt it together, hook it up, boom, it's in place. And I got to see this done. And you've got electricians, plumbers, HVAC techs, carpenters. You've got all these different people working on it. And to me, this is what's going to happen to buildings in the future. They're going to be able, and I remember back whenever I was an instructor for the union teaching continuing education, I literally remember this video that I showed, and it was in China. They built like a 10-story building in 30 days.
I was going to say I saw one in like 15, I think. It was
Yeah.
a couple years back. There were a lot of things I didn't like about it per se, but I know we've advanced a lot further now, so there's some better connections than what they used to have back then.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what it's leading to, is to become this super modular thing where you can prefab high-rise buildings. Roll them in and just piece them together like a Lego set, just about.
And it works about like that.
That's it.
So I just want to make sure that I'm where I'm supposed to be. 10:30. Good.
Half.
I know. I am right where I'm supposed to be. Oh, 10:31. So yes, I am right where I'm supposed to be. So MEP, working them all together. Here's what's neat about this and the prefab stuff is literally we can have jobs indoors. I mean, Randy talked about these bathrooms being built in a warehouse, but it wasn't just a bathroom. All the piping in the corridor were built in these skids that maybe they had a metal frame, say 6 feet wide, 4 feet tall. And they had all the different places where all the different pipes, conduit, duct, everything goes to, even your wiring. I mean, we're in a hospital, guys. So even your wiring for communications, for the nurses, for the doctors, for all this, everything is in here. And literally, you fly this section in, bolt it in place, clip it together. Fly the next one in, bolt it in place, clip it together. And I'm just telling you, this stuff is working, and it takes MEP, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, helping work on all this to tie it together. But part of what Squirt was doing over there too is there's other people that are building out all this prefab stuff, saying, look, we can spool piece all this to now we can cut 1,000 pieces 40 feet long. Now you stick them in a field, bolt them together. Well, now you got 40,000 feet of pipe that fits perfectly.
Yep.
Pretty neat stuff. All right. Next, we're going to get into where's the work, and I'm going to kind of roll this one over to you.
Okay. So like, where's the work? So let's talk about one of the largest jobs that have been released lately, and that's the new Meta data center over in.
Y'all ever heard of Meta? If you
haven't,
pull your head out of the rock.
You heard of Facebook, right?
Yeah, or Instagram.
Pretty close, guys. You're on the right page. The Meta data center up there in, I believe it's northeastern Louisiana, is Meta is planning to invest $10 billion on this data center. Okay. The timeline is they broke ground last month. It will run through 2030.
And how big is it? Because you just said a number. And I'm
Okay. So let's see.
10 million square feet?
The site will eventually encompass a 4 million square foot campus on 2,250 acres in Richland Parish.
Okay.
Now, what that's going to create for the area is 500 jobs, offering significant employment opportunities in that region. But construction-wise, a 5-year project, data center, loved all my pipe fitters. Y'all are going to be busy, boys, because that's a lot of chilled water to run.
And what that means is, guys, look, if you are a traveler, and you've got to understand, a lot of this work is going to go to unions. Okay, it's going to, because the unions can get the labor for that, and they can get that labor mobile, so they can get people to Richland Parish, down to Richland Parish. Now, here's the thing: if I'm a traveler, if I'm a pipe fitter, if I want to go where the work is, because normally when you're on a job like that, there's going to be overtime. If they bring you in, you make travel dollars, so you can make good money. But the opportunities are going to be amazing. But we're talking Louisiana, and that's food to me. And
yes,
I'm
it
just
is.
telling you. And I don't know if y'all can tell, but I've lost weight. Man, I've lost like 40 pounds in the last 4 months or so. I'm lower. Do you know what I weigh right now?
Less than me.
I weigh 189.
Ooh.
I don't remember the last time I was under 200 pounds.
Wow.
I mean, now don't get me wrong, that's butt naked thinking light, but that's the way I've always lived. But I'm telling y'all, I was at 228,
Yeah.
and now I'm at 188.
Wow.
So that's 40 pounds, and that's probably 4 months. But if I was in New Orleans, I could not do that.
No, I'd have to lose 50 so that I could go there and work to gain that 50
boy,
back.
isn't
You
that
know,
true?
that's my resolution this year is to lose it so I can regain again.
Yeah. Okay. So Louisiana, and guys, and now I'm going to go off on a rant here because this is something that I think about a lot. I think there should be a national MEP license, a national MEP
that.
board. And I know the union could do it. I know that PHCC could do it. I would rather them do it together. That way, it's a combination. It's not just for union people. It's for open shop people. It's for everybody.
Everybody buys in.
You bet. You get everybody to buy in because now when Louisiana needs plumbers, and I want y'all to think about this. If you're in Idaho and you can't find a job, and Louisiana or Louisiana, however you want to say it, is looking for plumbers, and you're sitting at home getting fat, sitting home watching TV, eating Cheetos because you ain't working, and you're collecting unemployment, and you could be in Louisiana making 3 or 4 or 5 times unemployment. I'm like, yeah, I'm in. And a lot of times, now you've traveled a lot. Have you ever traveled where they had dormitories or things like that? Because remember, I got Jason Hatton
Yeah.
in as a welder. Jason goes up north and welds on the pipeline. And they've got dormitories up there.
Yep.
They're like, look, you're going to work 16 hours a day, 18 hours a day, 20 hours a day. You come up here, you sleep, you eat, you work.
Yep.
That's all you do. But he'd go up there for 3 or 4 months and come home with 40, 50 grand.
Yep. A lot of our company, like whenever we would plan some out of town work, because I was an estimator too, so I'd plan some out of town work, we'd rent a house out for however many guys we needed to do that job. And it's like, oh, look, no, lodging is included, guys. We've got you covered.
Yep.
Just a little Airbnb or something, cut a deal with the owner of the house. But hey, I want to rent this thing out for 7 months. I got this project going on, and I'm
Yeah.
going to bring my
Cut me
workers
a little
through.
bit of
You
a
know,
deal.
can we work something out?
I love that.
And you can get some pretty good deals out like that. I've had help. We furnished some travel trailers for some guys because the jobs were going to be so long that our main, superintendents, foremen, lead guys, they furnished them with travel trailers to go and put up there and stay in for the duration of the project. Guys got to take that home at the end of the job.
It's not a bad gig.
Not at all.
And I mean, when I think of Jason going up there, Jason bought, I don't know if it's a house, farm, ranch, or whatever, out in East Texas somewhere. But I mean, God, he's younger than you, 10 years younger than you, something like that. I met him as he was graduating high school, and he said, look, so I've been learning HVAC, but I know you do good in the union. I'd be interested in getting in it. So I got him into the union, and it has been good for him. I mean, it's been really, really good for him. He put up a lot of money and went down and invested it in land and a house and says, hey, I'm going to settle down out here. So pretty freaking neat deal.
Yeah, like, a lot of youngsters asking me, are the trades smart to get in? It's like, yeah, you can pretty much afford any life you want if you want to work for it the right way. Like, it's easy to do. Union showed me that. Even Open Shop showed me that because I worked at some before and they kept me just as busy.
It's a great thing.
So, yeah.
So next time I talk about specialty training. And specialty training, no matter what trade you're in, is something you need to think about. And people, whenever I first opened my own business, I was told a couple of different things. Number one was never work for real estate agents. Number two, find somebody that'll do leak detection good for you. Now, remember, I'm a plumber, so these are really the things that people were talking to me about. But what I want to tell you is I did it a little bit different. I literally looked at it and said, okay, I'm going to focus on real estate agents. So but when it comes to the training, and I think I did. I skipped a section, but I'll come back to it in a minute. But what I did is I learned leak detection. I've got every bit of training that I could get from anybody that would teach it. And then I started buying all the different equipment and trying it. And that's how we ended up with Leak Pro. But guys, specialize in things that other people in your area are not specializing in. If you will learn to do that, here's the thing. Whether you become a specialist, right now, if I'm an electrician, I become the specialist in solar panels. There's so much money to be made in that because that's a new thing that nobody wants to have anything to do. So learn to specialize in something that is completely different. Because if you'll do that, it can be a complete game changer for you. But we did leak detection, and I specialized in real estate agents. I wanted to satisfy a client that could introduce me to hundreds of clients. Think about it. Each real estate agent you know can probably introduce you to 10 or 12 clients a year. That is so much easier to market to one real estate agent than it is to 10 or 12 different people and make your phone ring. So the opportunities are out there. The opportunities are really, really good. And it can change the way your business grows. If you, and we teach people this whenever we teach them about slab leaks and leak detection. How do you market yourself to do this? Because 9 out of 10 homes have leaks in them. It may be a faucet dripping, it may be a toilet running, but it also may be a slab leak under the house. So learn to specialize in something that nobody else is doing. And not just specialize in it, get freaking good at it. Become the best person at that. Randy knew nothing about leak detection or manufacturing equipment. You're pretty good at it now, aren't you?
I'm a pro.
But I mean, not just that. You know how to teach people.
I do. I went and spent 2 months, with the guy that invented it, picking his brain day in and day out, every day. Terry, what's up? Good guy, but like, I'd come up with questions, and he's like, "Holy crap! Like, I ain't heard anything like this in a long time." Like, wow, what even made you think of that? And it's like, well, I heard about this one job this one time, and it's like, from experience, from listening to other people's stories and talk, and it's like, well, what if you got a leak that's leaking right into a drain line? Can you find it? Well, yeah, you can. It's going to take you longer to find that,
I've
though.
done one.
But it can be found. Yes, you can do that, and it's just like, okay, well, how would you go about that? How would you do this? And to question that man was great because he's got 40 years of experience just doing leak detection.
Yep.
I've done some throughout my years doing jobs, getting jobs put in. Nothing like I do now, dealing with it on a day-to-day basis, but it's been great. And it's a skill. It's not that hard to learn. It's a process. And if you work that process, you've got it. And learning that skill and going into that specialty enhances you later. I mean,
it's a big deal. The next thing, in the one I skipped out, and I just want to talk about just a little bit, is training, and it's instructor training. And if you're an instructor out there, and I was, so I was an instructor down at the union for 3 years, I think, 4 years. If you're an instructor, start teaching people. They call them soft skills. I like to call them human skills. Teach them about emotional intelligence. Teach them how to look at people and talk to people and treat people. And man, I just started listening to a book again. Look, we've been off for Christmas and New Year's. And if you're in here right now, and I see we have Megan Weston Jesso in here, good to see you. Girl, I love your posts and I love what you're doing. So keep doing it. And it was great to get to meet you and your dad. And Jacob Bowling, I saw you in here too. So I want to give you a shout out and say hello. But here's the thing. And I read this the other day, but it's emotional intelligence is the one thing that determines how much money you'll make. It's not going to school. It's not the education you get. It's learning how to read people and talk to people and treat other people a certain way. So learn to do that. But the book that I'm reading right now is Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And guys, I'm telling you, when you read the first chapter, you're like, man, this makes sense. This makes sense. And when you read the second chapter and then the third and then the fourth, it all ties together. But it comes to it at the end of the day, what it is, it's how do you treat other people? And to me, that's the human skill. Not soft skill, it's a human skill. How do you treat other people? And literally, I started to grab you earlier and say, look, buy this audio book and listen to it.
Yeah.
It will change everything you do and how you do it. But you listen to people like Warren Buffett, and one of my business coaches says that Warren Buffett had one plaque on his wall. Now, Warren Buffett has learned a lot. He's made a lot of money, y'all. But he has one plaque on his wall. The one thing that he is more proud of than anything is the course that he took, Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And he said that one course affected the way I made money the rest of my life. And if we would do that each and every day, and I see we have Julie Jones in here also, says good morning, Roger and Randy, one of my favorite books.
Awesome.
And it is. And I'm telling you, I got up this morning and I'm listening to it again. Keepstone Plumbers, how are you? Welcome from South Africa. And Julie Jones says 85% of a person's success comes from people skills. And I call them human skills, people skills, soft skills, whatever you want to call them. Research from Harvard University, the Carnegie Foundation, and the Stanford Research Institute. Julie, thank you very much. But reading that book, and just, I mean, I'm telling you, and look, when I get up and work out this morning, I think I worked out for almost an hour. You just hear these things, and I mean, you're right in the middle of lifting, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I know that. Why don't I think about that more often? Yep. So I want y'all to think about that book. If you're an instructor, I want you to think about what books you should be having your students read. I want you to start thinking about what you could do to help them become better human beings, to become better people, to have better soft skills, to do things like that. So it is just, it's a game changer. It changes the way you think. It changes the way you see things. It changes the way you do things. So any ideas from you?
Sounds like I'm going to be reading a book here pretty soon. Well, at least listening to one.
Listening to the audiobook. Trust me, I don't hardly read anymore. I've got 3 or 4 books that are only in print, and it is so hard for me to read them because I can just stick a book on and get on the treadmill. I can get on the climber. I can get under the weights.
We're multitaskers. We're multitaskers. You can't multitask much when you're reading a book.
I know. It's hard to walk down the street when you're reading a book. I'm just being honest. Or hard to drive down a road when you're doing it. So it is. Amber Mendoza says 48 Laws of Power is also a great guide to navigating people. So, look, there's so many things out there. But if you're an instructor, I want you to look at it like that. What are you doing to help people become better people? So that is my section on soft skills. My next one is a fun one because it's pros making waves. And look, y'all see me. I'm on YouTube. I love what I get to do. I think it's phenomenal. But there are people doing great things on social media, and I just wanted to shout out to a few of them. First of all, you've got the HVAC school. And the HVAC school, man, it is exactly what it says. They're teaching you how to do HVAC on YouTube. And all of these that I'm going to talk about today are HVAC, if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking for my sheet.
Should be.
But yeah, I believe that they are all HVAC people. I love doing this research on plumbing, but I always come up and I'm like, look, I don't want to blow my own horn, but I do love what I get to do. I want y'all to know that. But to see HVAC people do it and going in and watching them and how they do it, and look, a lot of these people I've met. So the HVAC school with Brian Orr is fantastic. There's a lot of people out there doing a lot of good things. And they are just one of them. Next is Word of Advice TV. Now, and I'm going to read y'all the notes that I took down. It says, Jay hosts his channel, and his channel provides a plethora of appliance repair issues, including HVAC systems. Now, if you're in the Dallas area, I'm going to give a shout out to a special store that I go to. It's called Adam the Answer Man. And I mean, I've got them on speed dial, but if I've got a problem with an appliance or anything, I literally can call them, give them the model number, serial number, And then they'll take me through a troubleshooting process. And then they'll say, here's the part you need. And oh, by the way, we have that part. That's how they make their money, selling parts. But to get in and be part of that is really, really cool. And to get in there and learn, and by getting in and be part of it, I mean, you're fixing your own stuff. And I think that's what's helped us grow on YouTube is people love seeing what we do and how we do it. So what they do on the Word of Advice TV is the same type thing. They find a problem, they teach people how to fix it, and it's just, it's a cool deal. And I like the way that they do it. So next is the AC Service Tech, and this channel answers HVAC questions with step-by-step procedures on multiple topics. It's kind of like what we do. You know, how do you fix this? And then we'll go step-by-step through how to do it. So I think it's great, and I think it works really, really well.
I look at a lot of channels like that. Like, I'm big on, I got a problem. Guess what? I love to fix my own problems. And if there's a YouTube video out there that'll show me real quick how to fix my own problem, I'm going to watch it and fix it real quick and just move on with my day.
And if there's anybody out there that doesn't get that, I mean, think about it. People come to YouTube to find a result. Okay. How do I build a brand? How do I build professionalism? How do I become a professional? How do I lose 50 pounds? Whatever they come to you for, they come for a result. If you build a YouTube channel that teaches people how to get to that result, these people here, they teach you how to fix your HVAC system or an appliance, a refrigerator, an ice maker, whatever it is. They teach you how to fix something. We don't come here because we want to learn how to fix something. We come here because we want to learn, or we want that problem fixed. You know, one of my old favorite things is when somebody goes to Home Depot to buy a shovel, they don't want a shovel. They want a hole in the ground. If you could just sell them a hole in the ground, they'd buy that. But the shovel helps them get there. So no matter what you do or how you do it, it's great. Lori McNeil says, learning to connect with people is huge. It's a game changer. Yes, it is.
I agree, and I'm learning that more as I get older.
Absolutely. And IE Capstone Plumber says, plumbing is a good trade. Only problem is clients don't want to pay you for a service. And I'll teach you this. They will if you'll sell the value, not what you do. Sell the value of having it fixed and why it's beneficial to them. That is what really makes the difference. And at the end of the day, that's what they want. The next one's HVAC Shop Talk. I love it with Zach Ciota. And there's the other one, AC Service Tech LLC. And then two of my favorite people that I love hanging out with, I've got the Mechanical Hub. It's hosted by John Messenbrink, Eric Ani, and Tim Ward. And look, I've met these guys, hung out with these guys. They're great. And then one of my other favorite one is Service Business Mastery with Tersh Blissett and Josh Crouch. And I hang out with them at conferences whenever we go. So it's really, really neat to get to do the things that we do. And a lot of times it's because of people like y'all. Man, this first day went by fast.
It did. It did. And then, like, we've hit our last 5-minute spot here, which is typically for the best questions asked in the prior day. And, well, since this is day one, we have no questions yet.
You know, we don't. But but let's go back and talk about what we started talking about in the beginning, why we're doing this. Yeah. And I want y'all to think about, if you know anybody that would, and that's why I messed up. I'm looking at that clock up there thinking, okay, we're at 59 minutes. I've got to close.
We started 5
minutes early. So, yeah, so now I'll go into the best questions. Not really, but, you know. But here's why we're doing this. We think there should be a Trades Talk channel where tradespeople can come every day. And we're doing it at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, which is 11 o'clock on the East Coast. So while they're at lunch, they can start watching, listening, learning, and growing. And yeah, I like that. Colton, thank you for putting this up here. If you've got a question you want answered tomorrow, put it in here. We'll answer it and we'll talk about it tomorrow. But here's why we're doing this. Different reasons. Tradespeople need somewhere where they can go and get great information, We're talking about the different topics here of business news, website reviews, business growth. Oh, national news, not business growth. National growth, service work, material, equipment, tools, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, where the work is, instructor training, specialty work, and social media. And, we'll break it down by different social media people each day. So if there's anybody that we need to get on the show that you think can help y'all, let me know. I would love to bring them in. If there's any sponsors out there that you're like, oh my God, Roger, look, we would love it if Milwaukee Tools would come in once a week or one day a week or every day and talk about the latest tools, materials, equipment, whatever it is. So to me, that's why we're doing this. So if you know of anybody that, and we are looking for about 4 different big sponsors, but if you know anybody that you'd be like, hey, look, Roger, if this best practice group was on there, I'd love to hear from them. If this tool manufacturer or equipment manufacturer was on there, I'd love to hear from them. Man, we'll reach out to them and say, hey, look, we'd like to have you on here. How can we make this work?
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
That's what I agree. Like, we want to try to keep things in front of you that are going to help you in your day to day. We're here for tradespeople. That's the main thing that we do everything for. Reason we do all this YouTube and everything is to help you in your trade, however that is. If it's your business or you're just starting out, we want to help you in your journey. We want to create the right place for everybody to come hang out and talk and chat it up with each other. To ask those questions, hey, I ran into this issue. I've never ran into it. Reach out to the community and ask, because guess what? I may not know it, but he might, and I may be able to just call him real quick and go, hey, I got a quick question. Somebody's having problems with. Have you seen this before? And then he'll give me the answer and I can pass it on. That's what we're trying to create for everybody.
Man, and here's the deal too. And I want y'all to think about this. I've given you the topics, but now we've kind of got different topics for tomorrow because we wanted to change up just a little bit. Still talking about national news. Now we're talking about the bottom line. What can you do to grow the bottom line of your company? Talking about safety. Talking about new construction, where today we talked about service work. Talking about mindset growth. I got to hear a guy speak a few weeks ago, and he's on stage. He said the 3 things you need to work on. You need to work on your mindset, your skill set, and your daily habits. Ooh. And trust me, I'm going to talk about that tomorrow, because our daily habits are what we screw up on. We get in the habit of doing something wrong and we keep doing it. So man, that was a big one to me. And then instead of MEP, tomorrow's all trades. And, you may be a window washer. You may be a garage door installer. Still a good trade. You can still make a great living at it. Tommy Mello's trying to get up to $2 billion a year, I believe. So, and I love that guy. God, if you hadn't seen his interview I did on this channel, you need to go watch it. Laws and licenses. This is why we want an organization in here that has advocacies for the trades, to get them in, find out what we need to be fighting for, who we need to be helping and supporting. In Texas, we almost lost our license and people from around the country came to support us. Business training. I know some great business coaches. Julie is a great coach for plumbing, electrical, and HVAC. Different things there. Vehicles. Man, what kind of vehicles are you using, or what should you use? And then on the social media today, we talked about HVAC, which really should be a different day, but we're going to do that for electricians, welders, roofers, HVAC and plumbing. And I may bring different people in for different things to help them, to help y'all. So I hope that y'all got something good out of this today. We're right at the end. Man, we hit the schedule right on time like we should. I apparently did not hit any of my scrollers across the bottom because I didn't even know that they were in there. But it's good. We'll play with these on another time. But I want to tell y'all, thank y'all very much. I appreciate everything you do. And if you haven't done yet, was fixing to, I was fixing to get to it. If you haven't done it yet, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell so you get notified. Like I said, we're going to do this every day at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. And love to hear from y'all. Squirt, thank you so much for being here.
Glad to be here. Once again, Happy New Year, everybody. It's going to be a great 2025 for all of us.
All right, guys. Thank y'all very much. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.